Hello. How you guys doing today? Welcome back to the Back of the Rack podcast. I am your host, Sondi, back here with
Bendezzer. Yeah. I thought you were gonna say my
I'm sorry. We're trying new things. Like be making this intro. Switch it up. Keep you on your toes.
Right. Yeah.
So it's been a while for us recording this podcast. I don't know when this is going to drop for you guys. So how's your life been?
Well, first off, it has been a while now that I think about it, because the last time we recorded was like a month ago almost? Oh wait, no, maybe like 3 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
It's been a little bit, but you guys, for you it won't be any difference. Yeah.
We should lie to them and be like, yeah, it was September.
Yeah.
We recorded this back in September 2020. Yeah.
2018. It was that old.
Yeah, guys.
But I've been all right, man. And today's Mother's Day, so it's the 9th of May, and me and my girlfriend and some of my other family members made my mom a huge breakfast, and it was delicious. So I'm all full and I'm ready to fucking just exfoliate, if that's the word. No, just to
expunge.
Just talk about some back of the rack shit.
Oh yeah, I did similar. We had the exact same
for your mom too?
Yeah. I just didn't cook French toast. I cooked waffles. We had the exact same presentation except French toast and waffles.
This is why we're doing the podcast together.
Yeah, exactly.
Two peas in a pod.
2 peas in a pod.
I feel like waffles are harder, so I commend you on that one. Are they harder?
We got a waffle iron, so that makes it easier. So all I had to do was just call it a day. If I had to actually legitimately cook pancakes, no, wouldn't have happened. But it was chill. Got some yard work done. Now we're chilling.
Did you kill that snake? I know there was a snake that's been plaguing your life.
No.
Your nemesis?
His name's Robert. He has a name, and I still haven't found him. I found the snake hole, and there's nothing in there. I flooded it.
Put your hand in the snake hole to pull him out.
Nah, I just filled it up with water. I was like, nah, I'm just going to drown this man's, but we'll see. I think it's a water snake because I live on the water, so it's probably a water snake. I probably just gave him some drink.
So, real quick here, you live in Virginia?
I live in Maryland. I like to say Maryland looks like a Tommy gun, and I live on this part of the Tommy gun. I live in the edge. I live on the grip, the handle.
Okay. So you live near a body of water?
Yeah, I live literally right on the Chesapeake Bay. I almost said, yeah, Chesapeake Bay. Yeah, so it breaks into the Potomac and all that shit. That's where I live. It's not like I live on the water. I make it sound more extravagant than it is. I live at the edge, the absolute end of the water, and I can walk down and there's a pond, and I can slowly drift into the big bay for if I go down for 20 minutes.
That's still tight. I don't live anywhere near any bodies of water.
In the desert. In a home.
It's literally just dry all the time.
I just imagine Courage. Courage's house.
Honestly, there's places that are like that, and I'm wondering if that's where they got some inspiration from, just the Southwest. But we get monsoon seasons, which is from I want to say August is monsoon season for us. I would say August to mid-September, and it's just heavy rains, just so we get a huge rush of water, and we have all these ditches, not rivers, but springs in our mountains and stuff. So for a little bit, it's an oasis, but and the rest of the year, yeah,
dries up. Because when you said monsoon, I was like, it reaches that far?
yeah, it does. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Do you guys get it? Because I don't know.
Yeah, we get torrential rain all the time. So that's just the way it is. So I just kind of live with it. It's been raining all week, torrential raining. So luckily today is the only day it hasn't rained. But
well, I was going to ask you too. I just lost my train of thought. What have you beaten? What was that other game you were playing? Miles Morales.
Oh yeah, I did beat Miles Morales. I honestly was so sick that I beat it. Like my friend was like, "Hey bro," like I think I got to like the main like E3 part that they showed, and my friend was like, "Would you be mad if I told you that's like the end of the game?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I stopped playing after that mission, and then I picked it up the next day and beat the whole game, and I was like, "This is weird." Like 100% and everything, like all the
Okay.
side content and everything.
How many hours?
I'd say I think I took the disc out before I like actually pulled it up all the way to see like my actual playtime. But I would say about the same time it took to beat the game we're talking about today. Segways.
All right. So this was my choice. So I will lead in with this one. So amongst all the back of the rack games that we have sort of lined up, we don't have like a specific list like, oh, we're going to be doing this next month and stuff, but we usually have an idea of what the next episode will be. And I decided on a game called Crimson Sea 2.
Just a moment, I'll be right there.
The Menace, a previously unknown alien race.
So Crimson Sea 2 is another Koei game, and our first episode was a Koei game as well. This is the Koei podcast.
We are Koei fanboys. I need you to understand. Koei they are the back of the rack factory. We were typing a list up and it's just like Koei. It's crazy.
And I think it does say something about Koei as a developer, right? Like they put out like that middle market game. You know?
Dynasty Warriors is the definition of niche. Like nobody goes like, bro, I can't wait for Dynasty Warriors 9. Like nobody walks in like, bro, I need how many pre-orders you got for Dynasty Warriors, bro? I need that. Nobody does that. You just everybody looks at you where like I can't even find a copy of Dynasty Warriors 9 now. That's how niche it is.
People who play those games, I think, are really into them. There's there's almost no in between. Yeah.
Like, you either hate them or you love them. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like there's not many people who are like, yeah, they're all right. There's people who are just like, no, I don't like that at all. Muso gameplay, I'm out.
Unless it's Link. I don't like it.
Yeah, unless it's Hyrule Warriors.
Right.
So Crimson Sea 2 was my pick. Now, this is a game I don't think I ever saw this growing up. This wasn't a game that
until you mentioned it to me.
Yeah, like I had never seen it when I was like, dumpster diving for games at GameStop or like in the bargain bin. But I did find it on the PS3 PlayStation Store as a PS2 classic. But I had never heard anybody talk about it. When you look at the rest of the PS2 classics,
it's really classics.
Yeah, like you see things that people always talking about, like what Shadow of the Colossus, GTA, some other shit I can't think of.
Persona.
Yeah, Warriors.
I know specifically about those two, Warriors and Persona. I know about both of those on the PSN Store.
Yeah, they have the Personas. They have some Suikoudens. They have a lot of like classics that people loved. But Crimson Sea 2.
What is this?
That's exactly
it's back of the rack, even on PSN.
It really, yeah, it's bottom of the list. So I decided like, okay, Crimson Sea 2, this could be interesting. My intention wasn't to have this as a back of the rack thing, but I started to play it and I was like, whoa, this is something
This is
something special. Yeah. Like there's something about this game. But before we get further into it, Sondi, I want to ask you about our definition of back of the rack, because I think it embodies so much, and I kind of just want to pick your brain about like what exactly is back of the rack and what wouldn't be back of the rack for you.
You know, we had this interesting conversation earlier. And I think I'm going to spoil some shit, but like, we had a conversation about Final Fantasy 12 like earlier this week. And I was thinking about that. And I was like, I mean, to me personally, like, I feel like it's become so much more personal because every story that we've had has been like more personal. And like, I feel like 12 to me is back of the rack. Because everybody talks, like, even I did a Twitter poll where I was like, if I've never played a single Final Fantasy in my life, what's the Final Fantasy game I should play? Not a single person mentioned 12. They've mentioned everything but 12. Even the fucking MMO. But like, why not? And I thought to myself, like, why? Like, that's the one Final Fantasy game you never hear nothing about. You know, you never see like, oh, this is some collab bunny girl. I don't, that's the only person I can think of from that game. Bunny girl costume in this next Final Fantasy. So like, I thought to myself, that's back the rack to me. But like, see, it gets so interesting because Crimson Sea is definitely, because I've never heard of it, but it's by Cody. Like, I don't want to say obscure.
Right.
Because there's some popular games like on there that wouldn't technically be obscure. Like Second Sight apparently is a hidden gem.
That's another thing too. So someone asked me, "Oh, so you guys talk about hidden gems?" And I was like, not really. Like I think hidden gems can be within like the realm of what we talk about, but like the podcast isn't about like finding hidden gems. It's about like those games that, whether they're good or bad, you know, that were just kind of like you would always see, or you couldn't maybe afford, or you just like, just had like some passing interest in it. I don't know. So when we were talking about the Final Fantasy 12 thing, I was like, that's definitely a back of the rack thing for us, you know?
Yeah.
But that's because maybe we didn't get to play it when we were younger, or it's like one of those things where like no one ever talked about it. So it's just like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. Because to me, 12 was the only Final Fantasy game I vividly remember picking up myself. Like, I've always seen Final Fantasy, and like, I think the only other Final Fantasy that I've really like, because I've played Final Fantasies, but I've never really like gotten past like the first hour. And I think Dissidia, like I played the demo for Dissidia too much on PSP. And that's like my own, that's why I know so many characters from Final Fantasies, because of that one game. Yeah. And like, I think I picked that one up specifically like on the cusp in between generations from PlayStation 2 to 360. And I was like, huh. And I just kind of played it for like an hour and said, what the fuck am I doing? And went back to Sonic Adventure or some shit or something. I don't know.
But you snapped out of it?
Yeah. I think that might have been the time I was actually like obsessed with Animal Crossing and shit, like them Pokemon and shit. I don't know. There's a lot of games that came out back then, like Monster Hunter. Like, there's so much stuff. For all I know.
So it sounds okay. So yeah, back of the rack, I think, is something very personal. It's not whether the game is popular or whether it's a hidden gem. It's sort of like the relationship you had with it. Like if it was something you always wanted to try but didn't, or something, a game that was maybe too expensive, or maybe a game that no one ever talked about, and then you like. Okay, so actually, I think this is like the perfect definition. It's a game that you could have, or maybe think that you would have like a special like connection with, like that one game that no one else talks about, but you had that relationship with. I think a lot of people thought like Sonic Adventure 2, like I didn't realize that game was popular. Like no one else around me was playing it, but like I had a special connection with it. Or with let's I guess we haven't really played.
I would say Shadow
like
Hearts for
Bladestorm.
me. Yeah, like Bladestorm was one, or like Shadow Hearts. I don't. Is that Shadow Hearts? I know it's a PlayStation 2 game, and it's got a little anime boy, and he's holding like a girl, and he's got like his arm out like this.
Yeah, that's a JRPG, isn't it?
Yeah, is it? Yeah. I think it's Shadow Hearts.
Isn't it? Or wait, Shadow Hearts 2?
Maybe. As we both go to run to Google. Shadow Hearts. Oh shit. Yeah. It was Shadow Hearts. I think the second one. It was the second one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I always saw this cover, and I always wanted to pick it up, but I was always like, "What the fuck is this?" And like, apparently, it's a really great JRPG. Apparently, and it's got a very interesting combat mechanic that I like. Like, I like what was it? Lost Odyssey had like the thing where like if you press this button at the right time, like Paper Mario and shit, you'll do extra damage on your attack. I like that, and like I wish that's what I think always drives me away from JRPGs as a kid, is that I would play them, but I would only play them super far if they were like action oriented, because I'm not about to sit there and go attack,
yeah,
defend. I'm not about to do all that. Yeah,
it wasn't as engaging as I guess whatever. I mean, you're a little kid, you want immediate action,
right?
I think JRPGs require a certain amount of patience, and it's not for everybody,
Right. It takes a lot of sit down to realize it takes a lot to get into it because of the build up until you finally get into the groove of things, and it gets, I don't want to say better, but like just more enjoyable to play, which is a very I keep segueing into this game. Such a perfect segue into what we're talking about. I guess to go over some information about Crimson Sea 2, it was developed and published by Koei. It was released in 2004, early 2004, which was kind of sort of late. I want to say next gen consoles were announced back then. Like, I think
2004?
Because
I think they were announced,
but in 05, right?
Was it not 06?
One of those. I know the PlayStation 3. Oh shit. Came out in, what was that, 07? I don't know.
Damn, I don't think I actually know when those consoles came out. Like
I just know that was like the cusp switching between like middle school and elementary school and middle school. So I know like that had to be like around like 06, 07, 05-ish, I want to say. Yeah, it had to be 06, because Sonic 06. Yeah. Stupid.
That's how you gauge time.
Yeah, but this is actually a sequel, believe it or not, of another game called Crimson Sea that was exclusive to the Xbox. And this sequel is exclusive to PlayStation 2, which probably is the reason why it's back of the rack, because it was an obscure game on an obscure, I don't want to say Xbox was obscure, but it's a Japanese game on a Western console. Exclusive.
The fans,
and then went exclusive to a whole nother console. So like,
the fans were sort of like split up, and I think that's maybe why I didn't get more traction, because like they immediately cut off all the fans of the first one. Like, oh, you played on Xbox, and you have, all right, well, now we're gonna make the second one on PS2, and no, you can't play this one. Only PS2 people can play it. And yet, with video games, I feel like sequels can always be like, oh, you don't have to play the first one. This is a complete departure. Maybe it retains some of the game. Yeah, it retains some of like the gameplay elements, but Crimson Sea 2 relies pretty heavily on knowing like what happens in the first one.
There's a lot of characters and like story stuff that happens, like especially like the names of stuff. They'll pop out and just be like, hey, remember this? What happened in the first game? And you're like, no,
I have an Xbox. No,
I don't have an Xbox. What? I wouldn't even collect that with even if somebody gave me an Xbox right now, I wouldn't even collect for it. What would I buy on there?
I'm glad that we feel the same.
What am I gonna buy?
I'd be like,
Togi. Okay. That's the only thing I could think of.
Crimson Sea, I guess. but I pick up the first
Right.
one. Yeah, so this game was a PS2 exclusive, and I think that for that reason, yeah, no there's not a strong fan base for it at all. Um because of its, like jumping from one platform to another and the exclusivity. But yeah, what are your first impressions of the game? What do you like day one when you popped in and I was like, hey, let's do Crimson C2 for the next one. Like, what were you expecting? And yeah, tell me about it.
I was expecting Dynasty Warriors Outer Space without Gundams. Like, that's what I was expecting. And when I put my disc in, the game froze. That was a good sign. I had this lingering problem to where I like the very first like opening, like intro, like Dynasty Warriors intro that they always have, that went flawlessly. And as soon as I got into the game, it kept freezing. Like every FMV just freezes on me. I have to just mash the X button in order to like skip it, or else it'll freeze and I'll lose all my progress every single time, even if it does freeze. And so I don't know anything about the story. All I know is gameplay and presentation.
Well, I think that's fine. So it sounds like your experience. So I'm wondering if that was the disc that you bought, your PS2, or like just the actual code of the game, and it's just like freezing. Because I had two freezes, and that was when it was like really busy. And I kind of just chalked that up to my PS3. Like I don't know if it was the actual game itself. Um, Did you see anywhere online where people were like, yeah, I remember this game, but also couldn't play it because
I
couldn't watch
couldn't
this?
see the freaking story because
Yeah.
it was just broken. Nah, it might have just been mine because my disc was incredibly scratched that I got off of Amazon. Amazon is hit or miss when it comes to like used games. Because I got a copy of Spectro's Origins for like $4 off Amazon, and it's perfect. Like it looks like they just literally just took it out the wrapper and put it in UPS. It's crazy. But then Crimson Sea, I get it, and it's like, here, take this game. Like they threw it against the wall a couple times before they
Angry.
gave it to me. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so Koei, we talked about this in the first episode, which we covered Bladestorm. Koei was doing a lot of different things with their Warriors formula. I think they were experimenting with new IPs, i.e., Bladestorm, and this game. And it feels like a Warriors game, but also it doesn't play like one.
Yeah.
It's almost like, I want to say something controversial. I want to say it's like Demon Souls before Demon Souls, but without the difficulty. Like it's very stage based, except it doesn't have like, this. It's not like one massive map and it's like labyrinthian. It's not like, all connected. You get to one stage, enemies are always in the same spot, and you dispose of them in the most efficient way using a very limited amount of tools at your disposal. You only have you have two guns you can switch between. You have a melee weapon, two swords, or a like spear, depending on which character you pick. And you just make your way through the stage, and it's like, I don't know, you're timed, and there's a score counter at the end, which is very common for action games of that era. But yeah, like it was, I don't know, there was a vibe to it that I really, really liked, but also
I could feel you on that because it wasn't until I think the second biome that I really got to the point to where I was like, okay, I'm in the groove of things. I understand it because that first planet, beginning, I was going through it. I got to the point where I thought to myself, like, yeah, I'm going to disagree with him on everything on this game. I can't do it. I cannot do it with this game. Like, there was one. We'll talk about it later. I just want to finish with the presentation. It's it's really, I guess we can go break down the story a little bit because I don't really know anything, so you could probably help me out as well too with this.
Let's talk about the story. Let's touch on it lightly. So you couldn't watch the story, and I sort of checked out because I thought I needed like that backstory, for two or for
For one,
one, and I didn't have the context. So they were talking about all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is one of those games where like it's really heavily connected. And I didn't know till later that I could watch, like the first like a sizzle reel of the first game story.
yeah, they had like all
Um,
the cutscenes like in the game, like those YouTube videos. It's like all cutscenes, HD,
yeah.
4K. It has that in the game built in for you. They're like watch the whole first game, so you don't have to play it. Like Kingdom Hearts, yeah, Kingdom Hearts had that too, right?
They do this thing, this encyclopedia thing in games. And Kingdom Hearts actually had this too, where it's like, oh, you go to someone or you can access it through your menu, where it's like all like the events and the people involved and what these terms mean and like what organizations they're with, and just like a little like compendium
Yeah,
of
I tried
sorts.
to access that and it froze.
I did not bother. I didn't even bother with this. I was like, I'm not gonna read, because once you select one, it's two characters, right? There's a room in like the hub world, and like you run over to it, like you're exploring a little bit, and then you can talk to them, and they're just like, hey, we know a little bit of backstory, and then you can select what you want to know about, and they just go back and forth talking, and it's just like it's too long, and I'm like, I kind of don't care.
I don't know what none of this is. And it doesn't
Yes, that
help
too.
that like certain times you talk to characters and you have to press X to proceed. And then certain
Oh,
times they will show
it's
the dialogue box and you'll press X and it skips a whole cutscene. And you're like,
yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah, it's very jarring. You're just like, what? No, no, no.
I can't go
But
back.
luckily, from the cutscenes and everything, I wouldn't be able to say that the story is all that compelling. It is like a space opera, save the universe type of stuff, self-sacrifice, things we've seen a bunch of times in other media. Not to like undermine that trope, because I mean I do love like saving the world type shit, but yeah, I don't think there was anything special. The characters were kind of just also whatever. No one really. I mean, you first start out with a character named Sho, and he's
One dimensional.
doesn't. Yeah, like I didn't get. Like I couldn't describe to you his personality at all right now.
He
If you
is
ask
the
me.
main character and he just does stuff. That's really all I can think about, honestly. I
Yeah, and
think in
then
the first game probably elaborated a lot on him, and now he's at the point where they're like, we don't have to elaborate on him. So like, here he goes.
yeah,
It's him.
um, and then there's uh Fine, which is the second playable character you get later in the game, and she's. I mean, she doesn't really have a personality, but she has like you get that she's reluctant to save the world. Her her place in the story is like that she has a special ability, essentially, that can counteract the plague that you're fighting against, and she has to sacrifice herself. Um, and yeah, but they're kind of just whatever. Like they weren't terrible. Well, I mean, the voice acting was a little funky, but I mean, that's kind of when you didn't expect for voice acting in games to be
Yeah,
good in the first place.
this is back in the dark ages of Koei, back in the
Yeah.
it's Lubu. It's back in
Yeah.
those days, so you can't really fault them. Koei didn't really know what they were doing back in the day.
Right, right. But it was better than, let's say, Blade Storm's like
Yes,
storytelling, I would say.
I like it because I can at least get to the ending. It's oddly has the same structure as Blade Storm, low key. If you think about it,
It does. Well, I want to say that was how games were developed for like PS2, like Japan. Okay, so this game feels like a PSP game developed in Japan. If that
I
makes
can
any sense.
yes, like we were saying, yeah. Like if this came out on PSP, I would play this game. I would have played this game nonstop
Yes,
as a kid.
exactly. Yeah, it has like that bite-sized mission structure, and then you get enough. And well, actually, I don't know if you get enough incentives to like keep going back and playing missions aside from the score, but um, Yeah, it's very stage based. You have the hub world. You go to this little computer, and then you like select which planet you want to go to, and then from that planet you can choose what mission you want to do.
I
And
think
then
there's
there's
like
like different.
25 each planet.
Oh, I didn't even count, honestly.
I know it's 5 a stage, and there's like
Okay.
4 or 5 stages each planet. So yeah, it's got to be 25 stages to planet. So yeah, but see, they can be like lickety split, like a second, or they can take
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah,
That
there was some
time.
pacing issues, I would say there, where like, yeah, some are like super drawn out. You're like, with 17 minutes, am I doing this right? You know?
And still get an
And
S
then-
rank.
yeah. It's like, oh, okay. So I mean, it's nice that they account for that. But then some like missions are like 5 minutes. So it's kind of like that. God, this is a Dynasty Warriors.
Like that
podcast.
Dynasty Warriors game.
Yeah. Okay, so
Strike
Strike
Force.
Force, yeah, it feels like that template. Like, okay, here's your hub world, your store's over here, you can save over here, and then you go on missions, and then you come back,
And you do your thing.
or maybe Monster Hunter too, because it kind of has that like, okay,
Yeah.
this is my hub world, I'll build all my shit here, and then go out.
Yeah.
It works. It works.
It works. The one thing I don't like about it, I guess, I kind of break down how gameplay works so I can start going over my gripes. Because I got a lot of gripes. So pretty much the game, like we were describing, you have 2 guns and a sword and or spear. And you also have this like super ability, like your Mushu ability, essentially, that you can cast. And there's 2 different ways, which are triggers that you can attack monsters. So there's an auto aim, which puts you in tank controls. And
Oh, right. Yeah.
you can auto shoot and like strafe around a target. It's probably my go-to when it goes to shooting. And then there's L1 that locks you in place, like Dynasty Warriors games have it too, where you hold L1 and you'll look forward and can walk around. But there's no block. Well, there is a block, right? Is there a block?
No block.
No block. And I hate memes. Look like no block out here. And when you fight, sometimes there'll be like a bunch of these gooey, let's just call them alien monsters, the plague, whatever they're called. Scrooge? What were they called?
The Menace.
The Menace. There we go. There will be a million little menace things pop out, and you just knock them all out, and you'll get combos. And at 30 combos, you'll slow down time and can do more things. And and that's the whole point of the game, is that they'll give you a
very
task.
arcadey.
Yeah, it's very arcadey. At first it starts with like defeat all the enemies in the area or like reach this endpoint. And then it gets to points where they're like, defeat this specific enemy this way, or like you have to save these people. Like they'll give you small little tasks in between, but that's the general gist of the story right there. Not story, but the gameplay, other than like small little things that we can talk on and add on to. But that's how the game goes. It's very Dynasty Warriors, but instead of running up and attacking with a sword, which you still can do, you shoot and back up and keep backing up.
It's almost like Contra.
Yes.
There's a Contra-esque. You could probably tell that they were. Now that I think about it, yeah, they were definitely fans of Contra, which was what, Konami? I want to
Yes.
say. But just to back up real quick, you put here for the story section that you like the premise. What did you like about the premise exactly? What, as far as like the story, like what did you like? Not knowing what the plot is, but like you liked
what I liked most was in the start,
idea.
the very first mission. You're fighting the Menace, and you get to the end of the area, and one of your own soldiers is like, and he's getting taken over by the Menace. And then you put him down out of his misery, and it's like, damn, man, that's sad. And I thought that was going to be the whole game. It was kind of like, oh, we got to fight back. But no, that's the only instance that ever happens. Like, and besides the fact that I don't know what the fuck happened, because I would either accidentally skip a cutscene or I was forced to skip a cutscene because I was going to fucking freeze. Like I think even the final boss fucking froze. So I don't even know what happened at the end of the game. I don't know. So like I can't really talk about the premise other than I like the presentation about it. I like the way that the monsters look, even though they got more humanoid and it made it seem like they were an actual alien race. Were they an alien race?
Yeah, so this is what was interesting. So I guess we'll talk a little bit about just like the design of the world. So like you're in space and you're aboard. Wait, are you on a ship or is that a planet that you're
I
on?
think
Like
it's
the
a
main
ship.
hub. I thought it was a ship.
I think it's a ship. I think think
But
there's stars out there.
yeah, and you transport down to some planet, very like Star Trek style, um, beaming down, and then you fight these insectoid like creatures, almost like think of Starship Troopers mixed with um they they all look so in Men in Black, the cockroach.
Yes, yes, they all look like the freaking cockroaches.
Yeah, like little like variations of that. Some of them look like dinosaurs. Like there's like a reptilian sort of aspect to them.
There's some
Um,
humanoid ones.
yeah, that have like a shield and like a beam sword and stuff. So it's really interesting. They are like some sort of plague, like or I don't know, like I don't think it ever actually fully explains what they're trying to do. They're just there for you to dispose of them.
Yeah.
But the first planet, what is it? What was the first planet called? Dude,
You asked the
honestly, those
wrong
names,
person.
I was like, what does that say? I don't know.
I didn't even look at the
So
names.
the first planet is like you get beamed down, and it's not like you're not exploring the whole planet. You're just in like a small portion of it, and it's a very. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Camino from Star Wars episode Star Wars episode 2. Why am I making a fucking Star Wars reference? Do you know the the planet where they're cloning, where they're making the clones? Do you
Oh,
remember that?
yes, because it is always raining. I know what you're talking about
Yeah,
now. It took me a minute.
yeah,
I
and
was
you
like,
yeah, and you're like
what?
and you're like in the corridors. I mean, it's not as like fancy looking or like
It's very
as
bleak.
yeah, it's very bleak. And I was like, oh, I kind of like this. Like it's kind of like lacking detail, but it was like, I mean, with the music and everything, I'm like, this is a good like
It was a great
difference.
vibe.
Yeah, like I really liked it as opposed to like with Dynasty Warriors where you have like the guitar going and like
The gray fog of render
yeah,
distance.
exactly, yeah.
I can hear that. Oh,
This
speaking of sounds, that freaking confirm button. That the sound, the Koei
oh
confirm, the
yeah.
it was in there. Oh my gosh! Every time I heard it, it threw me out. I do like that you mentioned the soundtrack. There was two specific songs, and I was sad because they're boss songs, and they were like the best tracks in the whole like soundtrack. Like everything else was, but because it actually was like music. Like everything else was like atmosphere and like I don't know how to describe it. It was like oozing. It sounds like somebody just grabbed a bunch of toys and like squished them into the mic and made noise with them.
Yeah, there was like the soundtrack is really cool. So there's the ambient music that you're kind of talking about, where it's just like electronic synths, and it just feels like spacey and floaty.
Yeah,
and
you just have
it
like
does like
gurgles in the background and stuff.
yeah, and then there's actual like instruments like an orchestra playing along sometimes, and I'm like, wow, this sounds really really cool. There's a couple of bangers in there. Not all of them are bangers, but there
There's
was
a couple of bangers.
I was like, oh, this is actually really like an interesting, like just the sonic palette was just unique,
Yes,
especially for a Warriors game. Because with a game like this, I would immediately expect the
heavy metal.
yeah. I'm just like, the Warriors guitar riffs. But yeah, so the second planet is the
Desert?
second planet. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did not like this one as much. I was like, I don't know.
yeah.
No. This the third planet's a desert. The second one is that like it's
Was
the
it?
red, like it's like a canyon. I guess it's a desert.
Yeah,
It
because the
feels
third
like you're
planet
in
was
like
a
a.
forest, right?
Is that what it was supposed to be?
I don't know what it was. Was it mountains?
They, I guess
Ruins?
they did kind of get the otherworldliness of, because I could never really tell what the hell what this was. I'm like, is this a canyon? Is this am I in a facility, or is this like, what is this? You
Yeah.
know. So
Each
they did
one.
like nail that stuff.
It does get weird because at first I didn't realize that like each like row. I'm sorry, it's cold in my house, but each row is like a
Turn your camera
different
off.
tile.
We don't want to see this.
It's a different tile set. So like each row has like I was saying, like 5 missions, but all 5 missions would take place on the same tile set. And at first I thought
That's right.
that would be
Yeah.
like redundant and be like really annoying, but then like they do something so different with each level that it makes it interesting, because you have to, like, you start to learn the design of each level, and you start going through it and you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly where to go to get to this teleporter.
I think that was a very satisfying aspect of it. It's like the first time I was put on, like, whatever stage, I'm like, wow, this is a massive level. And it was always a little bit anxiety inducing, because I'm just
Right.
like, where the hell do I go? What do I need to do? But then once you learned the lay of the land and you did other missions, and they kind of like test your limits on like where the shortcuts, or like what way goes where, it I felt like that was like, oh, like I know like how to do this. I know like where to go. I know what room this is. Um, I thought that was yeah, I mean, and they did a lot of unique things with the missions for as limited as they were. It's like, oh, guide this person from here to here. Oh, go activate this module in this room to turn this on, or disarm these bombs. Like, they got really creative for it, as limiting as the gameplay loop is.
But that can
Like
also be very frustrating, because you know the mission I'm about to bring up, the fucking mission with the phantoms, where it was like defeat the ones and not the decoys, and like they're these giant hulking enemies, and if you
yes.
hit the wrong one, they explode and do like half your health. So you have to
Yeah.
like trial and error guess and like make sure you get the right one to hit it. And
It didn't always yeah, I really appreciated their experimenting, but it didn't always work. A lot of the time it didn't work. There's that mission where you're talking about that was super annoying, especially with the targeting. I was
right.
like, and then it shows like, so you
It
can
shows
see
you
the
which one
enemy,
is the right one, but you can
but
never target the right one.
yeah, and it's like they're moving, so I'm like, wait, hold on, which one is it on now? Just the way
Yeah.
like the user interface element would, yeah, it was just like, just weird. And then there's also the mission where it's complete black. It's just dark. The lights are out, and you're just fighting in the dark.
Yes.
Do you remember that mission?
Yes. It took
I
me a
was just like,
second to think about it. Yeah.
I was like, this is not like. I guess someone was like, oh well, what if we just make it completely dark and they just shoot randomly? I'm like, well, maybe give them a light or something. But it was just complete black,
Pitch
and you're just
black.
looking at your map to like move around.
And then there was another mission where you couldn't attack like these like little ghost thingy mabobbers, or else they'll explode. But then you had to defeat everything else.
Oh my god!
And when you're
like,
shooting,
you couldn't hit
strafing,
them.
like just shooting everything, they auto aggro and go like, all right, I'm about to go kill you, blow up and take 1,000,000 chunks of your life. It's crazy.
Yeah, there was like a little things like that felt, yeah, like it did feel arcadey. It did feel like they were playing around with the tools that are given to you to kind of like create these new mission sets. So I did appreciate that, but I don't think a lot of them were really frustrating. A lot of
Yeah.
them were pretty annoying, and especially because like I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that learning new abilities, or having more uh choice in maybe like your move set, would have been a detriment to this game? Because I feel like you only have your gun, you only have, or well, I mean, two guns, and then you have your melee weapon, then you have your
Yeah. It's like
your
3
knee,
psi abilities,
yeah,
right, for
that you
each
can
character.
cycle between, right?
Yeah.
But they're like all negligibly like not different. Like it's kind of like, well, I don't
They all are
really,
going to kill everything.
yeah. I
Yeah.
only ever used Well, I think shows are different from Fine.
Yeah, because you played as Fine mostly,
Yes, sir.
and I
Yes,
and I played
I
as
did, sir.
Show mostly. I played
Good.
Fine for like the Fine only missions, and I was like, but see, that's why. Is because this game wants you to replay it so much because like there's certain like bonus rewards for getting S ranks. Like there's literally specific items that will help you, and you have to get an S rank. And most of the time, those annoying missions we were talking about, those are the missions you got to get S ranks on. And enemies, when you kill them, you don't get experience at the end of a level. You do, but I don't really know what the fuck it does. But
It's handled, yeah, it's handled differently. I think um with experience you get it, but all it does is level your character up artificially, and it gives you a little bit of health, because I noticed that my health is like massive now from the beginning. So that's the only thing leveling up does. But if you want to get stronger, you have to use these like this currency essentially
what's it
that
called? Eclipses? What was it called?
oh fuck, Origin.
Origin. There we go. It took me a second too. I was thinking, I was like, what the fuck was it called? But yeah, so enemies randomly have a chance to drop Origin. So with that, you pick it up and you used your one Origin. I fucked up in the beginning. I was thinking that they were the levels, and so I was putting like, all right, we'll put 4 here and like 3 here and 2 and then this one. I didn't realize that you have to bring the bar and put in
All the
like
way.
all the way. So like if it's 12, it says I'm not a 12. You got to put all 12 to get it to level 2, and then all the way. And I didn't know that, and but after a while, I started to realize that, oh, this is what I got to do. But you can only upgrade your guns and your psychic and your melee. And once you get your melee, like because there's 4 different strings of the attack that you can do, and you can do like a special like. It's so ugly, but if you press back and the square button, which is the melee button, you can do like a different attack, which comes in handy sometimes. And if you get it to level 2, then you can press the shoot button afterwards, and then you'll do like a cool move where you'll do like melee, super melee shoot ability that does like a bunch of damage. It's not worth the hassle, and I didn't I got all my melee to level 2 and never leveled them back up again.
I so this game, like now that I'm hearing you talk about like what you did, it seems like it sort of fits different play styles more than I thought it would. Because I kind of assumed, like when I was playing it, I kind of assumed like, oh, like Sondi's probably doing this, and this is probably the most effective way to dispatch, like this enemy. But it sounds like you didn't like use the melee too much, or like buff it too much, or am I mistaken?
I think I only used the melee like in the beginning. I used it a little bit, and then I only used it towards the end of the game because the humanoid ones needed you to use the melee. Like there was like a couple specific combos that it was like, no, you got to use this or else like that's it. And I know Fine, I think they hit twice each attack. So it kind of helps out a little bit. Like I just didn't like Fine's gun specifically. So I didn't use her.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, Fine was probably more melee focused, and maybe that's why I enjoyed playing. I mean, I did like her guns, but I definitely like shows better. But she has this one like it's like a semi-auto like 3-round burst gun, and I love me some 3-round burst guns. And yeah, like I used that, and that was extremely powerful. The fire rate on it was kind of like
kind of
I don't know, it
shite.
was shitty.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was pretty like overpowered. I took out bosses just with that thing.
Yeah, because I know that's what I did with Show. I maxed out everything on his 2 guns, and the way that they worked, like they were night and day once you maxed them out. Like there were certain bosses I would literally just sit there and be like, and just kill it. Like just shoot, just never let go of the trigger and just kill it. I would say though, if I don't even want to say different weapons. Like if I had different guns, yes, and the melee was the same, then cool. I probably would have played it a lot more because they have a weapon wheel or like equipment wheel, but it's still only your 3 weapons. Like if I
Yeah, what the
unlock
hell?
more, like if I unlocked had to be able to use like if I could swap weapons between characters and use like shows weapons that were still upgraded with Fine or vice versa, or even if there was like extra weapons like a sniper rifle and I don't know if I can. I don't know. I probably would have like enjoy it more, but it just feels. I guess it gives you familiarity with your weapons because by the end of the game, I kind of knew exactly how to do it, how to flip and do a backflip into it,
Yeah.
aiming at people and stuff like that. So I guess that's kind of how it goes.
That's the thing that I find interesting and maybe our attitudes now as gamers. So with this game, there's freedom is not the name of the game.
No,
Like you have to learn like I guess you get to choose what weapon you want to level up and stuff like that, but your move set is static. It stays the same and you don't learn any new abilities. You can't swap them out. Well, I guess there's a bunch of exceptions to what I'm saying. But the point is that you it does feel very arcadey in the fact that it's like, okay, you just have these tools and you have to be
as
an
good as
expert
you
with
can.
them.
Yes.
Yeah, by the end of the game. And like I did find that satisfying. I did really like that. But yeah, some of the missions I feel like we're almost contradicting that because they were trying to experiment with like a lot of like missions. Like, did you do the one where it was those ghosts and they could like go through the walls?
Yes, and you had to keep walking around
Yeah.
and like trying to
Yeah.
get them as they walk through the wall to the other side.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're like, God, no, yeah. So like just little things like that where it was cool, but it was also like, well, give me a sprint button or
Right.
give me the ability to like dash or something. Now it's just like
I'm just
you're
here.
not giving me enough to play with, but you're playing with all the way these missions are. And I guess that could be fun. Like, okay, here's your tools, and we're gonna change the rules of every level, and you have to use that set of tools to overcome all these challenges.
Yeah.
That can be fun, and I think most games, I mean, I guess Mario, is that platformer. That's sort of the philosophy there. Um, but with this game, I think it kind of wants to be. I don't know.
It
I
wants to
want
be
to
more
say like
sophisticated than it is.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Because like that one specific mission we were talking about with the thingy bobs and they had the phantoms. What I did is because there was one, I think that's the one that has the thing where it increases you could have a chance to get health back from killing enemies, like if you S rank it. So I kept replaying the mission until I got an S rank, and just to get, of course, origins to grind up and stuff. And what I would do is my go to trick was either jumping because he had a super far jump. I would either jump or like dodge forward to like move fast, go through the level, and like either use the bomb to like clear the room and like kill it. And if I didn't have that available, then I would find whichever one's the target and literally run into it until I pushed it away from the rest of the pack to kill it with the shotgun. And then would like flip away and run away and run off real fast. And like that's the whole way I had to go about that. And then there's another mission like that where there's like you have to get to a certain part of the room or something like that. It's on the last planet. And what I did was I just jumped through everything. It's the one where you have to fight like the 10 guards or humanoids or generals or something like that. And I just was jumping through every room just as fast as I can, trying to get through. It does help you out a little bit. But then I think about that and I think if I played this as a kid or as PSP, I probably would have fucking hated these missions. Because now like my adult brain goes, okay, especially with playing like Bladestorm and like all the other,
cheese it a little bit.
Yeah, Second Sight has like awakened me. It's given me a Zenkai boost in gaming. Because that
love
shit
that.
had me destroyed with no guide. I was like, what do I do? And I think that's really what pushed me forward with this game, or else I would have quit a long time ago, honestly.
Where did you think that we were going to disagree? While you were playing it, because you mentioned that earlier. So
So
fuck.
it wasn't until I was forced to play this game for the podcast, and I kept like, if this game, I did not like it. I don't even want to say I don't like it. It's just I kept telling myself like, I don't like this. I don't like this. Like it was, I don't, presentation and story aside, it was all gameplay wise. Like I felt it was a very slow start. And because I guess it didn't really explain the origins system and like leveling up your guns. Like they explained like, oh, you can level up your shit, but they didn't explain, oh, you need to. So like for a long period of time, I didn't realize that they wanted, like there were certain things like you can't progress to the next story mission until you do a certain amount of side missions to level up your completion percentage of the map and stuff like that. Like it's on top of adding that the ones that give the biggest percentage 9 times out of 10 were those annoying missions that we hate. Like it kind of like it was just like every second it was either like I'm freezing or but if I'm not freezing, I'm in gameplay and I'm getting my ass beat, or I'm in gameplay doing something annoying, and I was just like, I guess.
I'm sorry I made you suffer so much.
It's not even that. It's not even that. Because it's a really fun game, low key. Like that's what I'm feeling. It's that it's conflicted because older me. This is where it gets interesting when we talk about our definition of back of the rack. Because older me hate. I don't want to say hates this game, but like older me, I'm not going to recommend this to anybody.
Right.
Like gameplay wise, it's very interesting. It's very cool. Like when you look at gameplay of it, if you do a quick Google, you go, "Oh yeah, that is kind of cool. Oh yeah, I'll play it." But then like younger me would have been all over this. I would have told you the whole plot, the whole lore of everything. I would have been like, "Bro, I got you." It's like he's a Viper kid. I would have told you everything about this game. But like older me, I don't know if it's because my patience level is thin, or because like there's certain things that the game doesn't tell you that help you out a long run. Like, did you go back and grind the S ranks for the items?
That's one of my biggest gripes with the game. Was that certain items, which I figured out aren't key to beating the game, but definitely make it easier.
They make the
You
game
have to-
loads easier.
Yeah, you have to basically get all S ranks in one go. And to give you an idea of what you need to do, you need to beat the level in under a certain mysterious like
Certain amount of time.
because you don't know. Like
it could be
like
20
it doesn't
minutes.
say
It could
Yeah.
be you can get an S rank. It could be 2 minutes and you get an S rank.
you have no clue, and then you just kind of guess based on like, oh, I got an A, so maybe I have to do it a little bit faster or something. Then you have to have a high enough combo chain. You have to kill enough monster, kill enough menace, and then what was the fourth one?
Not take a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, damage. Oh my god! And then there's always the special one,
Special one depending on the game
depending on the mission.
like the one
Objective.
menace one. Like you can finish that one and still get an S rank on everything. But if you even attack one phantom, you get an A rank. Annoying.
There was some that were like, somewhere I'm like, okay, that was satisfying. Somewhere I'm like, this is so annoying. I'm not even gonna bother. And I didn't bother with a lot of them. I tried, and I was like, I'm not gonna do this to myself. I don't.
And a lot of them
I
give
think
good
I can.
rewards. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot that give like 90 origin, which is like 90 level points, or like mega origins that instantly level up
Yeah.
a task. And then there's like the items when I went back and grinded for them, like the game became piss easy. Like I started going back, like once I got one, it was just a steamroll effect of just getting all the items. And I didn't even realize that there was permanent upgrades in the shop. I never went to the shop. Like It was so
Oh,
messed up. Because did you go to like I'd never bought anything from the shop because I was saving up specifically for the armor because I saw
oh,
that and I
okay.
was like, okay, I'm gonna buy the armor and I'm gonna buy the MP converter, I think. And once I bought those two, I was like, I'm good. But I think back now, I would have bought a lot more med kits.
Dude, that's actually what I did. I just stocked up on that, and it saved my ass, honestly. Like
Yeah.
the last boss, the final boss. Like if I didn't have those, I would have like not been able to complete that because like I needed to pause the menu and use an item every like couple of minutes because I was taking
That's
so much
actually
damage.
hilarious because the final boss to me was piss easy. I beat the final
Yeah.
boss. I don't think I got hit that many times.
Oh, he was hitting me like left and right. I was like, God damn, and I was doing a lot of damage to him, but when he would hit me,
You would
I
just
I
take
just
everything.
I was like, oh my god, would have to go in and then use like a med kit tier 3 or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, I
Uh,
didn't really record that much footage for this game, to be fair.
so overall, you wouldn't recommend this game.
No, not at all.
You know what I was thinking? So I think like as adult gamers, as maybe you would call it,
I ain't got time for
I
this
w-
shit, man.
yeah, I do think we're very like it's like mood based because like even with Second Sight, I felt like I was like, am I in the mood to play this? I kind of want to play something else, and
Yeah,
then
there's certain
and then I
days you want to.
lose. Yeah,
Oh, I was gonna say there's certain days you come home from a 9-10 hour day and you're like, bro, I don't want to figure out how to go through this metal detector. I don't know.
yeah, like it's like that a lot, and I'm guessing because I think I put 24 hours into the game, which is what double what you put, right?
Yeah,
Because
I
you
put
had
about
12.
12.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with it because I did enjoy a lot of the stuff and the soundtrack and yeah, it was just like it was a little bit of mindless fun almost. But sometimes I wasn't in the mood to play it,
I
and
could
I'm
feel you on that. I think
and
that's
as
might have been
adults,
also a reason why I don't really like it because I would always play it, especially these last couple weeks because they've been I don't want to say stressful, but like I've been working a lot. I've been working like 60-hour weeks and like coming home,
goddamn,
cooking dinner, and then cleaning and doing whatever it takes. By the time I get to play it, it's like 9-10 o'clock. And those I always play games until like midnight. I try to make 9 to 12 my like 3 hour gaming session because I feel like if I only play for an hour, I'm not gonna get nothing done. And if I play
that's
for
yeah, me
yeah
too.
3 hours at least, I get something done concrete. And when I be playing for those 2-3 hours, I'm always like,
So I think that yeah we are just very like moody. Like, what am I in the mood to play? And if it's like I like we have to play these games to do the podcast. So it's almost I don't want to make it feel that way, but it is like a job a little bit. Like, oh,
yeah,
I need to finish this game by this day. Oh, I need to play this to finish it because we got that podcast coming up. So then like there's the added pressure. And sometimes I guess in my mind, like I think that that might take away a little bit of the maybe natural enjoyment you might get if you just brought home Crimson Sea and we're just like, oh, I have a couple hours. I just picked up this game. Let's see what it's about. And
let's
you're just
just
like,
go
oh
ahead.
shit, yeah, this is good.
But to be fair, as soon as I put Crimson Sea in, I knew I wasn't going to stop until I beat it. That's kind of this giant ass shit behind me, bro. It has a lot of JRPGs. So I've kind of gotten now in this mindset of not looking at it as like a backlog, but looking at it as like whatever I put in this game, this like Miles Morales, it was like wherever I'm gonna put in here, I'm not gonna stop until I'm done playing it. Because
Oh
if I stop like Persona 5,
yeah,
if I stop playing it, I gotta restart. That's like a 60-hour game. I'm not about to restart.
true,
It's
true.
it's very seldom that I go back to a game. Like I still have Wind Waker. I think I got like a couple more Triforce pieces left to go. But I know if I put it in, I'm gonna restart from scratch. And that's a big commitment. I can't just go back in because there's like certain things you think about where you're like, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that and I need to do this.
Yeah, I. That's interesting that you. Do you ever think that you're shooting yourself in the foot by like I'm locking myself in. Like I'm committing. Like you don't have like a this is the game. Like for me, if I'm playing Crimson Sea, I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying this a decent amount, we'll say. And if I'm not feeling like playing it, I'll have like maybe a backup game so I can hop between at least two games. So I feel like I'm like, and I
I
don't,
should do that.
yeah, because like I feel like if I lock myself into something, I will enjoy it less. I think that's what happened with what did I do that with? Honestly, like I know I haven't beat it, but Persona, like whenever I try to like sit down, because I have like 140 hours in that game, and I still haven't beat it. Whenever I'm like, okay, I'm gonna beat it, and I get sidetracked and do all this other shit, and I'm like
That's the main game I
just
was talking
grinding.
about. Yeah, because you
And
got your S links, and you got
mhm,
like you have in that game you have a set schedule of like, okay, it's Monday, so I'm gonna go to the arcade so I can level up my charisma, and I'm gonna go hang out with this social link at night, and then I'm gonna go to mementos on this day, and I'm gonna grind this. Like it's you put yourself in a schedule to where you're working and figuring everything out. That if you stop and you come back and you're like, what the fuck was I doing? Oh, I got this persona. That's why I was leveling this shit up. Oh, I don't know. That makes it a little hard. That's what I think makes JRPGs daunting, is because I think I'll do the same thing in a JRPG. Like we were saying earlier, though, like if this was a PSP game, like if I could take this, like if this game was, let's just say Switch now because it's older. Like if they had Crimson
oh,
Sea 3 and this was on the Switch and I could play this not sitting here and I can play it on my lunch break, play it while I'm taking a shit, play it when I'm downstairs watching Law and Order. Like it will be a lot more enjoyable because that's how I do Hyrule Warriors. Like Hyrule Warriors is very fun on Switch because I can play my quick little one stage, turn it off, and put it away and play it whenever I need to.
feel accomplished at least. Like, oh, okay, I got a little bit. Like, I got that stage out of the way.
Yeah, it's
So
very plug and play. I can play it anytime, anywhere. But like Crimson Sea, especially freezing, I think I just had a bad experience with my copy.
I think
The
I think that's part
anxiety
of
of
it.
like, I'm going to lose all this progress if I don't save, if I can't mash at it. Like the final boss, I think I mashed for 4 fucking minutes. Like, come on, please. I beat this boss, please.
Okay. See, yeah, that makes okay. I get why you would not like this game because that's some of the reason I didn't like this game too was because like I didn't want to use specific moves because they would freeze on me. Like if I used the the what is it? Neo Psionic? If I
Yeah,
use like the spinning move and there was too many enemies, my shit would freeze. And it'd be like, I didn't save the last mission, so I have to do like the last 3 missions again or something.
exactly.
S- so I mean that was pretty stressful.
Yeah,
And
that's
that would
how
make me not
show's
enjoy it.
aerial ray was. It was the same way. I would get massive slowdown if I did his aerial ray in like a big room. So I just
Mhm.
kind of resorted to I'll just kill him.
Yeah, yeah. I can kill him a different way. Um, yeah, I think it's I feel like it could be like in an arcade, honestly. Like take out the like mission hub area, like you select your character, Fine or Show, and then select the planet, and then a random mission, and then you're just at an arcade, do that quick mission, and then you're like,
Yeah,
oh, who,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
that probably would have been better. And if instead of getting origins to level up your gun and stuff like that, if it was just a natural progression of like the more you use this, the more it'll level up. So that because I use the machine gun nonstop in that game. That's why I maxed it out first. Like if there was a way to like if I just kept using it, it leveled up on its own. I probably like it would have been a lot more enjoyable because I felt like I was forced to like be shit because the difference between a level is so huge, especially like range or like I think it's rapid. I think it's like power, range, and rapid. And like the
Mhm.
difference between range and rapid levels are crazy. Like you can like with a machine gun, rapid, like max rapid compared to level 1 rapid, you're getting like you can barely get a combo for like 30. But like max rapid, you're hitting before you even kill an enemy, you have a combo of like 60, 80. It's crazy.
Yeah. So ultimately, why do you think this game wasn't popular, or why? Well, hold on, it was a PS2 classic. Why?
Why is it? Yeah. But see, from what
I,
I've read, from all the I went on Internet Archive and looked at a bunch of video game magazine articles about this game, and I've noticed that the very first Samurai Warriors came out around this time, and everybody, I swear, every time I saw this game, they mentioned, you're better off just playing Samurai Warriors. I
but
don't
they
know.
weirdly are different though.
Yeah.
They're not. It's not like a clone. It's like
it's like
one
it's completely
is
own
different.
game. It's just the
Yeah.
only thing they got in common is that there's a bunch of
Koei.
enemies on screen in Koei.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
But
So yeah, I'm sorry.
nah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Koei cannibalized their own IP.
Yeah.
By releasing them so close together, and people preferring this one, and
And besides the fact that you see a 2, you're gonna be like, I need to play the first one. Because it looks like a JRPG. It looks like not what it is. Like when you first told me, hey, let's play some Crimson Sea 2, I was thinking what the fuck is this? And I thought it was like a JRPG or something like that, where you're like, no, like Final Fantasy, no, you can play this one. You don't have to play the first one. And then I looked at the gameplay and I was like, okay.
Hold on. Okay. That's funny because I remember when I saw Crimson Sea 2, I also thought it was going to be like a JRPG.
Right. The cover looks very JRPG-ish.
I was like, oh, this looks like it would be some sort of RPG system, but it's very light and it's mainly an action game.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, what? I mean, 12 hours.
12 hours. I mean,
12 hours. I mean, could you beat it sooner if it didn't freeze? Maybe.
Probably, and also the fact that I skipped a lot of cutscenes by accident, and I didn't do a lot of the side. I did once. I finished 100% at the first planet, and I think I got to 80 or 90% on the second planet. And then I only did what I needed to do on the third planet, to beat the game. I got to the point to where I was not doing side content to do side content. I was like, no, I'm not about to do this. This shit was annoying the fuck out of me.
That's fair. So you wouldn't recommend this title?
Not currently, no.
But you could see where, as a kid, you would have enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where how do I describe this? If I found this game earlier, it's the opposite of Second Sight. If I found Second Sight earlier, I would have hated it. But because I found it later in my life, I love it. But if I found this game earlier in my life, I would have loved it. But since I found it later in my life, I fucking hate it. I don't want to say hate it. That's a strong word. I don't hate anything. That's a strong word. It's average to me. I didn't feel anything playing this game. It didn't really... I'm scoffing at myself because I know I'm lying to myself.
About what?
It interested me at first, but the more I played it, the more I was just eh. I'm never going to go be hey, one day I plan to have kids, and this wall will probably be bigger behind me. And there's games I know on there I'm gonna be like, hey son, go ahead play this now. I'm not gonna say that with Crimson Sea 2. If I come in the room and he's playing Crimson Sea 2, I'm just gonna be like, why?
Hey, it freeze on you yet?
It freeze on you? Yeah, that
you better not use that Neo Psionics. Better not use them.
Hey, make sure
freeze on you, boy.
Here's what you do with those phantoms. You want to push it against the wall, then shoot it. Promise.
Oh my god, we're gonna be some weird ass dads. Be
hey,
like, Dad, I don't like games like that. That's old people shit.
You're gonna play Sonic Adventure too. You're gonna raise your goddamn chaos child. Go to your room and raise your damn child.
They're like, no. That's the punishment. Yeah.
Did you log in your Animal Crossing?
I know, right?
You gotta make sure your town okay.
It's, instead of taking care of pets, they're gonna be taking care of their village or their town, their island. So I would recommend this game, but it would be. Well, I mean, I said this in the first podcast. I'm not in the business of recommending games really anymore because I just feel like people don't like. It's so. I don't have like gamer friends like that. So like, and whenever I do recommend a game, I feel like no one even plays it. So it just feels like I'm wasting breath. I'm just like, hey, play this. Like, oh yeah, I'll check that out, and then they never do because you ask them, oh, did you play that game? No. It's like, why do I even tell anybody it? You know?
No, I've been playing this Fortnite, man. It's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I didn't even try. I didn't even look. Yeah.
You want me to buy PlayStation 2 for this? Nah, no,
I don't think so.
nada.
Yeah. Wait, this game freeze? No, I don't think so. So I would. I mean, just for the sake of answering the question, I would recommend it. I do think that it has a really very interesting style and just like a really unique atmosphere for a Muso kind of game. Uh, and I think if you're like looking at Koei as a developer and want to look at like some of their history and maybe something unique that they created, this would be like that one, like, oh, you like, like Dynasty Warriors? Well, you kind of know what to expect with those. Why don't you jump into Crimson Sea too?
Yeah,
And kind of get that feel, because the like there is a difference between like, Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors and Blade Storm and the other Warriors, this one did feel like a really unique IP and that they were trying something different. And
they butchered my boy.
I mean, it didn't work all the way through, but
because you could say the same thing about like early Dynasty Warriors titles. Like I think it wasn't like Samurai Warriors 1, from what I played, is not really fun compared to Samurai Warriors 2. Samurai Warriors 2 was amazing. And like I think that's the same thing kind of sort of with like early Dynasty Warriors. Like you're not gonna go back and play Dynasty Warriors 3. What are you, crazy? No. Those like Dynasty Warriors doesn't exist before 5.
No, the feel of it and everything, like
It's
when they put,
yeah.
And actually another thing too, when you mentioned that Crimson Sea, I think you asked me like, oh, do we have to play Crimson Sea 1 or whatever? Whenever I bought games, the number never deterred me. Like it could say 5 on it. Like, I would just be because with games, I noticed that like they create an IP and like they want as many people to play their games as possible. So often I see that they just have the number, but the number just indicates the franchise, but it doesn't always indicate the like a story being followed through multiple games. So like,
see, I think that might be the difference for me, because that's what deterred me from Final Fantasy specifically. Is that I'd see the numbers, and then of course 7. Like that was the height of the Final Fantasy, like Cloud, Crisis Core, Advent Children. So like I thought Final Fantasy was like an amalgamation of like 7, essentially. I thought everything was on top of everything, so I never played it. On top of like I think Dynasty Warriors is the only one where I knew like it's the same game. It's literally the same stages, but that's because I played Dynasty Warriors 2, 3, 4, 5. Like I played them all and was like, oh, okay, this is like Street Fighter, like Street Fighter 1, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3. It's the same game.
Yeah, I think that's where I like was able to make the distinction, because with Mario, when you play Mario, like and again, I'm not a Mario fan, but I'm using this as like just an example. Like,
can I tell you a secret? And what can I entrust you to it?
Yeah, what is it?
I've never played a Mario game.
I think our whole podcast has just been discredited. People are going to be like, hey, that nigga Sondi never played a Mario game. I don't trust
Correction. I've never played a 3D Mario game. I've played New Super Mario Bros. Wii. And of course...
do you mean like Super Mario Sunshine or Galaxy?
Nope.
Like that?
Nope.
Oh, that
64?
Yeah, that doesn't.
Nope. None of it.
But you played like the classics, like the side scrollers.
Barely. I think I've only played like the first levels, except for New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Only because like it was a Wii. You know what I mean? It was a game. But like other than
So,
that, I've only really played like 1-1, 1-2, 1-3. Like that's probably it if it comes to a Mario game.
well, you and me are in the same boat, my friend.
I was a Sonic
No,
kid.
no.
Listen, man. I played Sonic first, played Sonic Advance, Sonic Adventure 2. I was on Sonic. If it wasn't Sonic, you can eat my ass, bro. Mario,
Okay.
he's not fast.
Yeah.
He ain't got cool friends. Like Luigi, that's his little brother. Ain't nobody cool.
Yeah, like it just follows him around. Like no one wants Luigi around. He just happens to be there.
His name's
Tails though, and Knuckles.
Knuckles, he raps, bro. Ghost tried to
Um,
approach him and got leery, bro. What can
So
you say?
I played a lot of Sonic when I was younger. I didn't, but I wasn't a huge Mario fan, and I played Mario 64. Played like I've always like played a little bit of each Mario, but like I'm just not into those games. So like yeah, I'm right there with you.
I think it's because I played Zelda too. That the fact that I was like, you can't kill nothing with no sword. All right, now
I'm out.
I'm out. I can just play Wind Waker, bro.
I think it's the fact that Mario was just like that was probably before our time. Even before, I mean, like you and me, there's a good 6 years between us, but yeah, that was even still like like JRPGs, and there's a different type of game in the ether, and we were like more subject to that, and like the platformers and stuff. Like, well, I guess Sonic is kind of
Technically,
I don't know,
but I mean, it's a difference. It's a lot of running. It's a lot less like it's platforming.
it's
but
flashier.
yeah, like later you go in stages, the more platforming happens.
Oh, okay. So I actually just want to circle back to the sequels for games. So yeah, there are a lot of games that have sequels that don't require you to know like the previous one. So like fighting games, racing games, platformers like Crash Bandicoot, like there was a bunch of them and you didn't have to like play the first one to
Yeah, like
so like
even Ratchet.
so in my
Ratchet and
mind,
Clank, yeah, you can have a Ratchet 3 and still be good on Ratchet 1.
yeah, so it's not like movies where it's like, oh, this is one story and you kind of need to watch the prequel to like what to understand or to appreciate this. So like yeah, with like JRPGs, whenever I saw 2 or something, I'm like, it's probably fucking nothing.
Right.
But then I played Final Fantasy 13 too, and I was like, oh, okay, this is
I
actually
need to go back.
wow.
Okay.
I'm wrong. I've lived my whole life under these preconceptions. And, so
I think if they continued this, like if they tried again with like Crimson C3 on like 360 or something like that, it probably would have been fun. Like if they refined it, or like I think the advancements in technology would have helped this game out a lot. Like instead of you playing a show, like if you created your own character, oh shit, that's what they did with Bladestorm. Cool. Fuck, never mind.
Yeah, or if they maybe had more characters.
Yeah, because there is more characters technically, but they're all
for the
multiplayer. Yeah, and you can't even go to the multiplayer mode without plugging in a second controller, which is really ugly.
Yeah, you and my mom use the term ugly in the same capacity, in the same way.
It's so ugly. Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm just like, what? And she's used it forever like that, and she's the only person I've known and who's used it like that, and now you use it. So Sondi, yeah. I might be the father of this podcast, but you are the mom. Damn.
I'll take that title.
All right. So overall, I think this game is definitely a back in the rack title. Not for everybody, and I think a lot of its technical issues and some of its gameplay like designs are a little like can make it iffy. And if you're not in the mood for this kind of game too, because it does demand a little bit of your patience. But overall, well, I don't know why I'm saying overall. Like if we're gonna give it a
it's
B+.
a 3 out of 10.
Yeah. What the fuck? Oh my god.
I would definitely say it's a back of the rack game. It's a back of the rack game for Koei fans. Like a back of the rack game for back of the rack fans. You know what I'm saying? Because the Warriors games, like
it's niche.
Yeah.
Super niche.
If you find somebody that's like a Warriors fan, it's like, you too? kind of like being a furry.
It really is. Yeah. People be like, "Oh, you like Warriors games? You must." I in the JRPG podcast I listen to, it's like a group of people all talking, and it's so crazy how unstructured it is. But it like they're all talking, and they ganged up on this one guy because he was just like, "Oh, like I know I enjoy like Muso games," and then they're just like, "Oh, you play games to not think, or like you're like a like a peasant essentially." Like,
Bro, them Mushu games used
like
to have me. I used to be out
it's not
there thinking,
intellectual.
especially on chaos mode. I used to be like,
No, yeah, you have to.
you have to.
It's
You
just
have to really think.
you do have to think.
You have to think about dodging and doing your
Yeah.
combos and not dropping.
I would put forth that Crimson C2 is a thinking man's Dynasty Warriors.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. That's a good way
You
to
like
put
that?
it because there are certain things that, like, as a Dynasty Warriors fan, you would think will be automatic. Thinking, okay, it's Koei, it's kind of like Dynasty Warriors. You're thinking it's automatic, and then you play it, and you're like, whoa, like leveling up or like the items and everything. Like, there's certain like Dynasty Warriors, they just give it to you. You don't really have to think. Just beat ass until you win the game. But like. This is different. I like it. I dig it.
I guess the best way to almost wrap it up, it's like, okay, Crimson C2 is basically Dynasty Warriors, cut out all of the enemies, cut out, or not all the enemies, cut out like hordes of enemies and only like groups of enemies. Cut out capturing bases, cut out different characters, cut out move sets.
Cut out
or like
meaningful levels.
Cut out what else is cut out the guitars, the power guitars. Cut out story, like a cohesive story. Cut out it really feels like they boiled down an idea, and I think that's what's kind of makes me appreciate this game. Like they were like, okay, so Dynasty Warriors, you can mash square, triangle, mash this, but with this, it's like you kind of have to be a little bit more deliberate with when you do something, because when you get hit it feels terrible. By the way, when you like fall, like
you fall and you're on the ground for like
yeah, I'm just
that's
like
how
I
he
never
looks
wanna
too.
fall.
And you're on the ground for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
It hurts. And you die easily in this game. So I would definitely agree with that. It is very methodical with the way it works. And once you learn the systems and everything like that, it really opens up. And I would say I wouldn't even say use a guide, but just if you have the instruction manual, read it before you play the game.
Wait, did you do the tutorial before you jumped into the missions?
I did the tutorial.
You did all of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did them all, and it was that's another good thing about the game in the presentation was that they have a full extensive tutorial, and it won't let you go through unless you do it exact. Like it's very like I know I'm not going to let you just press the buttons. You got to know how to do this, and I did.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that. Yeah, I was like, what the heck? Okay, you're gonna have me like the fighting game combo like melee attacks. I was like, oh, back and square, and then
they were even telling you tips like, make sure you hold L1 when you do it so you can actually do it, or else you won't. Like they were actually showing you.
They're like, we're gonna set you up for success, but also the game's gonna freeze, so it doesn't matter.
Right after this, when you get to the cutscene, it's gonna freeze.
Yeah, so don't worry about it. But yeah, I don't think I have any leftover thoughts. I think I've kind of shared everything that I've actually thought about it. I did get when I beat the game, I got the fashion ring, which I spent all of my money on, and it just gives you like an alternate color scheme for your character.
Wow.
Yeah, and Fine looks sick. She's like wearing black instead of like the blue, and her hair is like blonde, and I'm like, oh, she looks like a whole different person.
That actually sounds pretty cool.
It's slick. Yeah, she was. She looks badass, and I will have a video of that because I recorded it because I was like, this is sick. This is my favorite part of the game. Stupid. What about you? Any leftover thoughts on Crimson C2?
No, that's all I can really think of. It's how annoying. It's like, nah, let me stop bragging on it. I'm really trying to sound like the antagonist of this podcast right now. I hate this game.
Do I sound overly positive about it?
No, I mean, I think I don't want to say I think that was positive. I think my experience with the game was just jaded And that's what really messed me up.
You're too young to be cynical.
Yeah, and I think that's the case, was that I was thinking about, and besides the fact that I was also, when I played through this game, I was streaming it to my friends on Discord to like test out the nitro and stuff like that. And so as I was streaming it and as they're watching it and they're looking at me and they're like, they were telling me shit that I didn't even realize. Like they were like, "Is this the same mission?" And I'm like, "No, that was no. This is 3 missions later." And I'm like, "Oh, it does kind of look like that now that I think about it." Like certain things like that.
Yeah. Huh. Wait, you didn't stream it for me, you piece of shit?
Hey, listen, man. By the time I get it, it'd be like 12:30 over the AM PM for you. It'd be 8 PM for me.
Okay, so now we're gonna do our back of the rack. Did we name this segment where we show what we've? Oh, a back of the rack pickups.
There we go. Back of the rack pickups.
I'm gonna grab my pickups real quick, and we'll go through them.
I grabbed these specifically. Hold on, let me actually grab 2 more. That boy grabbed a stack.
Well, yeah, it's been a while.
That's a PlayStation game on top. Oh, it's the long PlayStation too. It's not even like the short PlayStation. I'm actually interested. No, it is a short PlayStation. Maybe I'm just stupid.
I think so.
Because there were some long PlayStation cases too, right? Where like they were like long.
Yeah, I have some of those actually. Yeah. Those are really cool. So this is the first one, Invasion from Beyond. This is a really hard game, and I can't get past the tutorial. And I don't know if I'm gonna keep playing this, but yeah. So this is a PS1 game. It has a really cool cover. I don't know if you can like see that.
The glare. Yeah.
It's like an old school cover. World Tour. I remember playing this on GameCube.
World
Tour. Yeah, World Tour. It's like a scooter. It's like Tony Hawk meets mopeds or motorized scooters. That's a good one. $3
We gotta find out whoever designed this, whoever did the art for these GameStop cases. I need to find them. I need to find who did them.
They're genius.
And it's
all right. So this is East ink of Arc. It looks like ink on here. Ink of
nipple.
Yeah, ink of Nephistim or something like that. So that's a PS2 game. Resident Evil.
That's a bop, especially on
the
Wii
edition.
It's got way better aiming than the C stick.
Super smooth. This one I tried. Metroid Other M.
It's actually, fun fact, one of the only Metroid games I've ever played.
This game it's
really good.
Really cool.
It's really good.
Wow,
people cool. Shitted on that game, but it's really good.
I only played like the first maybe 30 minutes, but I was like, this is incredible. And then this boy here, One Piece Unlimited Adventure.
That's what that is. You see that? That's a feature episode right there, bro.
Yeah.
I'm still mad at myself for that. Like to this day, bro. I went to GameStop with a bunch of friends, and we were like, because we all played like local at that time. We were like, bro, we need a game, and I saw that because we all played Grand Adventure on GameCube or Grand Battle, whichever one it is, and we were like, bro, let's get it. It's the Wii one, and they were like, nah, man, we need something 4 players because there was only 1 player, and we were like, fuck. And then they were like, let's just get Ghost Recon Advanced Warfare. I was like, bruh, we can take turns.
Yeah. Is this one?
Is it 1 player?
Oh, this is 2 players.
Oh, it's 2 players. Never mind.
Yeah, I played the first hour of this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait to jump into that whenever I do. And then I'll probably do an episode a video on that one. I'm definitely gonna do a video on this. I've been playing this Final Fantasy X and X-2 with HD remaster. This is on this is on everything, on the Vita, PS4. You can find it like everywhere. Yeah, phones. Yeah,
Engage.
But, I've been playing it, and oh man, I love it. It's pretty good so far. So yeah, let's see what you got.
I kind of went wild. So like I decided to cop a bunch of like the dollar games. Like I decided to round on a game by like cheapest on my wish list and just start buying whatever was on there. And so we got Technic Beat, not for the price listed on here. It was for like a couple
$13.
$13. But it's
$13.
it's a rhythm game. I don't really know how to describe this game because I've played a little bit of it, but instead of like, you know how a rhythm game you just press up, down, down. There's spots on the ground and it's like Osu, but with an analog controller, and you control the person that has to walk into the actual like Osu spots, and like they'll pop and then it'll be like a bunch of steps and you have to like land in all the spots as it goes. It's kind of hard to describe, but once you see
what the fuck is Osu?
Oh man, you're not a weeb.
What is Osu? What is that?
Phony. Osu is when you reach a level of weebness that you can't go back. So essentially, it's like it's a rhythm game, and you like tap the screen. So like how my hands are now, you'd be like tap, 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 tap.
That's what it's called. Okay,
yeah.
I just didn't know the name.
Yeah, I
just didn't know the name.
You see it.
Yeah, but do you see this background? I'm a fucking.
You're more weeb than me. All I got is a squirrel back here and.
Rock Band 3, empty ass box of Rock Band 3. Yeah. Oh, that One Piece.
Oh, yeah.
Always not come. Oh yeah, you're a nerd.
My keyboard, yeah. And then we got this game I used to watch my dad play, the one on 64. Shadow Man Second Coming. It is a image comic.
That's a sequel.
Yeah. It's I know they just re-released the first game, like remastered it on PlayStation 4 and everything, and PC on everything, with like all the cut content that wasn't in like the first game. And I've never played this game before, and still haven't, because I'm waiting on my Shadow Man. That's should be here any day now.
You gonna play that one first?
Yeah, I wanted to play the remaster first before I play this one, which would probably be a regression in history.
Wait, the remaster? What is it on? The first Shadow Man?
It was on, I think, Dreamcast in 64. And
well, it's definitely on PS1. But did you? Yeah. What did you get it for?
No, I got it for PlayStation 4. I had to order a physical copy.
Oh, so there's an actual remaster.
Yeah, it just came out like a couple weeks ago. So that's why I bought this one, because I was like, huh.
Okay.
All right. Then we got another rhythm game. We got Mad Maestro.
I saw that.
But Rush Games in IDOS Montreal. But it's like Wind Waker, but like the entire game is the one item in Wind Waker.
Oh, the little oh yeah, there we go.
That thing.
What is it called?
Baton?
I don't know.
No,
it's called something else.
We gotta get on the mic with Jadakiss on the cover. But got the microphone and everything.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, I am.
I'm just gonna have to watch you play that one, because I don't have a PS2.
I played it yesterday, and there's no.
Why don't you stream for me?
I'll stream this after this. I'm gonna stream this fucking game for you so you can see. This shit is.
I'm gonna be busy.
Oh yeah, you're right. Fuck it, tomorrow.
Fuck it.
And then I had a very interesting time at GameStop. I went in there, my local GameStop. They're pretty cool. After work, and they have a little case, and I've always noticed it, but I never really looked into it, because it just had like a bunch of like discs, like, you know, in the like little silver thing, the yellow things, and I never really looked into it. I just thought it was like DS games or something like that, because they do have like GBA and DS games and stuff, but I didn't realize it was like retro games. Like that's their little small retro game section. And like for some reason people either order things and like, or like return games there or something like that. But these are all reprints, which are actually pretty good now that I look back on them, which is kind of crazy that I actually printed these on printer paper. But we got the first two Art of the Leco games.
Oh, Art of the
Lecos.
Okay. Are those action RPGs or just turn-based?
Yeah, they are turn-based / action RPGs, and you use the power of songs and music to help you in combat. from what I could see from it, it has like the same system, kind of sort of like social links, like Persona, but it's called like the dive system, and you can like learn more about characters and increase stats and stuff like that. It's very interesting.
By the way, my East game that I picked up for $16, I looked up what it's worth on eBay. It's just going for like $200.
Yeah,
I cannot find a cheap copy. I was like, holy, did I just stumble upon my first expensive game?
that's how I felt, because I also got Wild Arms, and then I also got this game, Eternal Poison, which is a strategy
I have that on my
RPG.
list,
and it is incredibly expensive. Ignore the NFL sticker at the top because I couldn't take it off. I don't have any more Gugon, but it's a strategy RPG where you get to capture the monsters and stuff like that. It's kind of like this Gaia. It's really cool. It's really expensive in price now because of Eric Landon. So now, I got all these I got those 3 and Wild Arms all for $60 because it was Pro Day. That's why I went in there. It was Pro Day.
Oh my god!
And I had coupons, and it was buy 2 get 1 free. I was like, how much are these? Because they're all like under $30. So I was like, give me them. I told the dude in there, I was like, give me all of them. I think the most expensive one there was MS Saga, which I did not know is a Gundam JRPG.
MS Saga?
MS Saga is a JRPG with Gundam SD characters.
Huh.
It is.
When I was at my local GameStop game store the other day, I saw Romancing Saga for like $40 on PS2, but I didn't have my PS2 at the time, or my PS3 that plays PS2 games, and
I have to look.
I didn't pick it up
because I'm thinking Romancing Saga. I'm thinking it's either Romancing Saga or a Limited Saga.
Which I think it's a Saga series, so I think those are part of the same series. Saga series, yeah.
Yeah, it's Unlimited Saga, yeah. So that's a remake of the other game, but Unlimited Saga was the one I've always seen this cover. I think I actually owned it right before I got a 360. And I think once I got a 360, I don't think I ever played it. I think I got it like for mad cheap, and then I just never put it in because I was like, Halo 3, the fuck? I ain't about to play this shit.
Yeah. So, is that it? Your haul? Damn, I was like, look into it. Like, all right, what you got next?
The only other one I picked up, but I figured that wasn't as cool as the other story, was the only other game by the studio that made Legos, the Lego games that wasn't a Lego game, Haven, Call of the King.
Haven.
It's
yeah, I've seen that boy everywhere.
It's a platformer. It's one of those tack games. You know what I'm saying?
It's tack.
It's tack, but with a dude with white dude with cornrows.
when you open the case, it's just tack the disc. I wanted to. Do you have Astro Boy on the PS2?
Oh, you're talking about the one that's based on the movie?
No, not that one. There's another Astro Boy that I saw, and I was like, "Oh, should I pick this up?" But I didn't. I was looking at it.
Oh, there is one that's not based on the movie.
Yeah, it's like animated. You know.
Huh. I have never seen this before.
Yeah, I was like, that feels back of the rack to me for some reason.
Yeah, like, I definitely remember Astro Boy, the video game, the movie. Astro Boy, the movie, the video game.
Right, yeah.
Let's look at some gameplay of this real quick. I'm scared. I'm genuinely scared.
It's like a shooter, third-person shooter, locked-on I don't know, it's interesting. But
it does look really interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on. He's flying around a lot. It looks like a DBZ game. This is actually kind of crazy. He just grabbed the tentacle, pulled it out of the ground, and shot another one with like point blank range. That's okay.
Spin attacks, and he has like other moves.
Real quick. That seems really interesting.
Doesn't it? I was like, huh. I don't know why I didn't grab it, but it's one of those things where I'm just like, am I grabbing too much right now? Like, I try to limit myself. I'm like, well, what do I want?
Yeah.
Do I want World Tour, or do I want Astro Boy.
Yeah, it's becoming
You gotta-
summertime, and I feel like I'm gonna have more time. I say that like I got fucking school or something. Oh my god!
I was gonna say, I'm like, wait, are you in school? What the fuck, nigga? What? Motherfucker
But
school?
like for my summer project, I wanted to play through a couple of these JRPGs because I got a lot of JRPGs up here.
We're playing 12. That's
We're
already
playing
set in
12.
stone.
That's set in stone.
Okay.
Are we doing that next
I don't-
episode, or are we doing Spectrum? Should I say it? Let's suck it. Let's say it. Next game.
No, yeah, we have to. By the way, guys, the next episode is Spectrobes, which is a Wii title. The only one of the only JRPGs on the Wii.
Yeah.
And it's made by Disney.
Made by
Media or some shit.
freaking Disney Interactive Studios.
Yeah.
It's their failed Pokemon clone that isn't really Pokemon, but
Have you played this game at all?
I've played the DS one. And I knew that there was a Wii one because I remember seeing remember when they used to come out with Shonen Jumps in America and they used to be like this fucking big? I remember seeing like this in those Shonen Jumps, but like other than that, I've never played. I only played the DS one and I was like, oh, it's cool. It's a cool little Pokemon clone. So I'm very
So that is going to
interested.
be, well, I guess we're going to have to decide off podcast, but
Hey, listen, man. We can do
Because,
this
I
right
mean-
now. Howlongtobeat.com. Final
Okay, because-
Fantasy 12.
dude, that's a 50-hour easy.
Let's see. The Spectro said 30.
Yeah, you see that?
61 hours? But it says
Yes.
I have to just exclude main story and go straight to main story extra because that's what we're going to do. 93 hours. Do you have 90 hours to play that?
Okay, we might have to skip. Well, we could sandwich in a smaller game with it or something. You know what I mean? So we can cover 2 games. Like we can play that. Well, no, I mean that wouldn't work.
Yeah, we could do 2 at once. We can do 2 at once.
I just don't know because I really, really want to play Final Fantasy 12, and I'm starting Final Fantasy 10, and I was like,
You
oh,
can't
shit,
start
when are
2
we
Final
gonna-
Fantasies now.
Yeah, no, I cannot do that. So I'm just like, well, when is a good time?
So I want to play through 12. I think that's going to be my first Final Fantasy. Like I have 7 remake and I have all the other ones and I'm always like, I want to play them. But like 12 is the one, that was the first one I've actually played as a kid. Like sat down and said, I'm going to play this Final Fantasy game. I'm going to see what it's about. And didn't really get far because I was like fucking 9 or 10.
Yeah, it's also a little, for a kid, I feel like it's a little complex, a little hard to understand. But when do you plan, or when would you want to start it? Like after Spectrobes, or do you want to? No, let's do Spectrobes.
Yeah. That gives me an excuse to bring my Wii upstairs so I can play through No More Heroes 2.
We'll do Spectrobes first, and then
Plus, it looks interesting.
maybe
It's 2-player.
is it?
It's
Oh
2-player.
yeah, one person can like.
Drop in, drop out, 2-player co-op. Huh. I don't think it's going to be 30 hours. It'll
It'll be 60 hours for me,
Yeah, it'll be 58 hours for you, but I think,
and it'll be 12 for you somehow.
yeah.
Yeah, bro, I beat it.
Because it's looking like, only like 7 people polled for this like game. But it looks like the fastest time was 18 hours and the longest time was 45 hours. And it looks like average time pretty much is 25 hours. So that 30 hours is kind of pushing it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm down to do that next because that's a title that I have. It feels good when I already have the title, you know,
Yeah.
and I don't have to like go out of my way to buy it like
Wait on
second
it.
sight.
Hey, man,
No,
look-
obviously you did that with Crimson Sea, so it's give and take. I don't mind it at all, but
yeah.
because you know it's a game I already have, so I feel like I'm working through the games I have. But yeah, guys, so I think we're gonna be doing Spectrobes next.
We're the
I
JRPG show for a minute.
Yeah, this is a JRPG podcast.
It's like an anime. We're in our JRPG arc.
Eric Landon is gonna be featuring in our next episode. Eric Landon, and who's another JRPG person? Eric
Jared,
Landon.
technically.
Oh yeah. He Pro Jared. We're gonna get some heavy hitters on here just to talk about.
Yeah, man, we getting all the
Spectrum.
JRPG guys out here, man. The HPMP podcast.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
we getting them all.
Oh, that's the podcast I listen to, the JRPG podcast. It's HPMP. I never say it.
I always add it to my watch later. I think I have like 4 episodes on my watch later on YouTube, and I just always go like, I'm gonna watch this, and I never do because my watch later is filled with like hella shit. It's like 600 videos strong.
Jesus Christ!
I just hit shuffle.
I went through the whole thing. Within like 2 months, I just listened to their whole thing, and yeah, it makes their podcast makes me. Well, in part, it was kind of inspiring. I was like, "Oh, cool! They're doing a whole thing about this, so like, let's do our own thing." So it's good. I would listen to it, and you definitely get some insight, especially because they all play JRPGs. And you're like, "This is what JRPG players are like." God damn, you guys are all fanboys and
maxing waifus. Fuck.
But yeah, let's wrap things up. Thanks, guys, for tuning in for the 3rd episode. Number 3. First the worst, second the best, third the one with the hairy chest, I believe. Okay, yeah. So you can catch me on Twitter. I'm far more active now. I try to annoy Sondi and at him all the time on there. And I'm also, I want to say you can check out my YouTube channel, but I haven't put anything. But I will. It'll be some Final Fantasy X content soon.
By the time you watch this video.
Oh, by the time you watch this video, it'll be out. I forgot about that. We're gonna try to release our podcast like every 3 weeks.
Yeah,
but I think that's still under discussion. And Sondi, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Sondi. It's in the bio. I'm not even going to spell it. You can find me on YouTube at Sondi. Don't follow me on Instagram because it'll be a waste of a follow. I don't post on there.
You only have you have limited follows, and don't waste one on Sondi.
Don't waste them on me. I promise you. You're better off going through the Explore page. Yeah, I'm super active on Twitter. I try my best to like just post random shit because it's really fun to talking with you guys. Like, it's very, very fun. I've gotten to the point in Twitter to where I've escaped anime Twitter and I'm now in like video game Twitter. And it's so weird. Like when I posted that Final Fantasy question, I wasn't expecting as many people to comment as they did. And I was like, hold on. I like this.
Yeah, people love to jump on that. Like, oh, you want? Let me tell you
opinions?
What game to play. Yeah.
I got you, bro.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 10. What was the most? It was 10, wasn't it?
It was 6, actually.
Oh, yes, 6 and 4. I saw
6, 4, and 10 were like the main ones that people were saying. People were saying 10 if you wanted modern graphics, and then 6 was like the definitive, like, this is the Final Fantasy you need to play.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I'm like, what the fuck?
I can't go back to 16-bit.
So not 13? All right, whatever, guys.
A 16/8-bit is such an acquired taste.
Yeah, I couldn't go back to the first ones.
I don't even think I can go back to OG Sonic games. That's how sad it is, bro. Like, OG.
And you call yourself a retro gamer?
Hey, listen, my first console was a GameCube. I'm young. I don't have nostalgia for 16-bit games. Like the only reason I played through the Sonic games was because I was like obsessed with Sonic. Like I'm Nolan the Hedgehog type shit. So
Nolan the Hedgehog.
Nolan the Hedgehog. I'm making them in the Flash game and shit, where you can make your own Sonic character. Yeah, extra spikes and shit.
That's funny. Yeah. All right, well, Sondi, thanks for taking the time. This is the Back of the Rack podcast. Make sure to subscribe or to like the video or
comment your dissertation as to why we are wrong about Crimson C2 and why it's a masterpiece.
For audio only feeds, do they like the podcast or do they follow it? How
rate,
does that work?
Share? I don't know.
Rate. There you go. Rate it. Give us a 3. Give us a 3 at least.
At least
out of 5?
A 3. A 2.5. Because then I'll make people think what's so bad about it.
Exactly.
So bad. It can't be that bad.
Just one. Come on, But yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Sondi, I'll catch you on the flip side.